Before we get started, I want to let you know that Val and Jerry Demings, they're in the house. So, next slide. So, welcome everybody. We are so excited to be here. So, we're going to do a little different protocol today. I'm going to ask new members to stand. So if our new members would stand. Thank you so much. Normally we would have our new members introduce themselves, but we're afraid we're going to be pushed for time, so if I forget next month, remind me, I told you can introduce yourselves next month. How's that? And then, so our guests, if your guests would raise your hand, if you're just here for the first time and not a member, welcome. We're so glad to have you here today. Next slide. So this is so hard for me. When we left this room last month, we had paid tribute before to Renee Good and Alex Preddy. And when we left here, we thought we might never have to do this again. But here we are today. We're at war, and our service members are being killed. And as a retired Air Force veteran, and any of us, it breaks our heart. So if we could just please take a moment of silence to remember these 13 members and their families and their children. It's so sad. So I'm sorry I'm so emotional, but just a moment of silence, please. Okay, thank you. And so on a much happier note, we're so excited to have Mayor Demings be in our meeting today and speak to us and talk to us about his campaign and all those fun things. So just to give you a little background, he grew up in West Orlando. He started as a police officer in Orlando in 1981, and if I get any of this right, it came off the internet. He was appointed chief in 1988, becoming the first African American to be in that role. And last month we celebrated Black History Month, and we could have included Mayor Demings in our celebration last month. In 2008, he was elected sheriff of Orange County and then re-elected in 2012. They like him over there. And in 2016, they really liked him over there. He ran for mayor of Orange County in 2018 and was re-elected in 2022. Both times, they really like him over there with over 60% of the vote. May not, but you probably do know his wife, Val Demings. And we are so excited to have her here with us today. I remember one of the greatest experiences in my life when she was running, but last time I got to drive her around in my golf cart. It was so much fun. We had a great conversation. She's met a million people since then, but I will never forget it. And so at this time, I am so proud to present this dedicated public servant to our group. Please welcome Mayor Jerry Demings.
Good morning to all of you. Madam President, it is indeed my honor to be here. Thank you, President D. Melvin, for inviting me. Thank you all for being here on a Saturday morning. I'm honored to be here with my bride. I'm going to acknowledge her because this week, on March the 19th, she and I celebrated 38 years of marriage. And I was on the campaign trail. We did not spend the day together. And on March the 12th, we celebrated her birthday. I was on the campaign trail. And we did not spend that day together either. But we're here today together. And so, anybody here ever run for a political office, held office? Okay. So, those of you who have run for office, those of you who have held office, those of you who have served in our armed forces, you understand what it is to sacrifice. And I believe that it is important for us to save our democracy. And as such, I'm making a sacrifice from spending time with my family, to be on the road, to meet people like you, because I believe in the America that we were all born in. Even though I must tell you that sometimes today when I think about being an American, I have to pause to say, am I still a proud American? Because of some of what is going on all over the world. The president today talked about the men and women who've been lost recently while we're at war. My heart goes out to all of them. They're not just numbers, they're real people. And that's what concerns me so much about our nation. I've sworn to 7 oaths in my 47 years or 45 years of public service. I've sworn to 7 oaths. And those of you who have served in our military and armed forces public office, they ask you to raise your right hand. Oftentimes they ask you, if you so choose, to put your hand on a Bible. And you take this oath. It always began this way. I do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States. And then if you're a Florida officer, it says, and of the state of Florida, against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Then it goes on to say, and I'm duly qualified to hold office for whatever the office is that you're being sworn into. And then all of those oaths end with these words: I do solemnly swear. Am I right about it?
Yes.
That's the oath that we take. Right now, when we wake up every day, if you're like me, sometimes when you wake up, I feel like I'm in Wonderland. I wonder what it is today. It's a different wonder. I wonder, did we go into some other nation, some other foreign land, and we extricated the leader of that land? Did we enter into a new war? Did the president, by executive order, take away some rights and some privileges that we were guaranteed under the 14th Amendment? Equal protection under the law. When we say our pledge of allegiance, we pledge to one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It doesn't say for some people, it says for all. So here I am running now to be the 47th governor of the great state of Florida. And that's a mighty task. Simultaneous to that, I will continue to be the 5th elected countywide mayor in Orange County. But when I think about the opportunity that we have, I feel like, ladies and gentlemen, our democracy is in trouble. And because our democracy is in trouble, it will take good people standing up against the tyranny that we see today. As the greatest nation in the world, made up of people who came here from all over the world. That's what makes the United States of America great, Am I right about it, Democrats? The last time we elected a Democratic governor in Florida was 1994, 32 years ago. And since that time, those of us who are Democrats, who've been fighting, toiling in the vineyard to change that, we've been saying ever since then, we're going to change that. But this time, I ask you this question, Democrats and others, because sometimes there are other people who are in the room, they may not be Democrats. Do you believe that it's time for a change? Yes. I believe. In fact, I've branded this campaign the I Believe campaign. If you get close enough to me, that pen that I have on says believe. Because I believe that it's time. I'm sick and tired of the preemptions of local government authority coming out of Tallahassee. I'm sick and tired of Tallahassee taking away our women's rights. Amen. Am I right about it? I believe that a woman ought to have the right to choose her destiny. Yes. What do I believe? I believe in civil rights. I believe in human rights. Today, when we see the immigration and customs enforcement efforts going on around our country, if you have any sensibility towards what is humane, it has to move you in your heart emotionally. When you see American citizens who have died at the hands of our immigration and customs enforcement officials, where force was used that I say may not have been necessary. As a 37-and-a-half-year law enforcement officer, a senior law enforcement official, a trainer, a person who hired individuals to enforce our laws, to a person who created the policies and procedures, the training, who trained them, who supervised them, who held them accountable. When I see, and when I have seen some of the force used by our immigration and customs enforcement officials, it concerns me. It concerns me because we were trained to use force only when necessary. To de-escalate force when you could, not to escalate the situation. We've seen some terrible things happen, where even the superiors condoned the behavior that we saw, where they did not hold individuals accountable. When I'm governor of the state of Florida, I can assure you that we'll get back to holding our law enforcement officers accountable and those who enforce our laws, to ensure that they have adequate training, that they have adequate pay, that they have adequate supervision, that they have adequate oversight. I'm going to use the sum total of all of my years of law enforcement experience to do so. When I think about many of our other rights and the situations that we find ourselves in today, where we have people who cannot afford to live in Florida anymore because the prices are up. The price of housing is up. Let me just check who's in the room today. Do we have any billionaires in here today? Raise your hand. Do we have any wealthy people in here today? Raise your hands. Now, I just shamed some of these people because, you know, some of y'all really think you're wealthy. Right? But you're not gonna dare raise your hand right now. But the reason I asked the question is, I'm running to be governor to represent the working class people. Yeah. The billionaires don't need my help. The wealthy people don't need my help. But all of those people who had to work, our school teachers, our public educators, I'm running for them. Yeah. Because right now, we see where there's an unequal playing field between our public schools, our charter schools, our private schools, our parochial schools. I don't have anything against the charter schools, but I don't believe that the charter schools should flourish at the expense of public schools. For our teachers, especially our public education teachers, they deserve to get paid better than what they're being paid now. Growing up, our teachers were some of the better paid professionals in our community. Somehow we've slid backwards here in the state of Florida. I could get more into what I see as the inequity between the charter schools and the public schools, but it'll take too much time for me right now to get into that. In a few moments, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask me some questions. But I want to at least touch on the things that I see as important. We're going to focus on improving access to quality health care for our seniors and others. We have a wonderful plan that we put in place in Orange County called the Primary Care Access Network that serves the uninsured and the underinsured in our community, where we have these clinics that we are partnering with the private sector and the public sector to make quality health care available. The state of Florida ranks near the bottom per capita in what we allocate for health care. We're going to change that by utilizing the state's resources and making it a priority that our seniors and others who cannot afford health care get greater exposure and access to quality health care. We're going to support the expansion of Medicaid in the state of Florida. Getting our federal tax dollars back. How many veterans are in here today? Raise your hands. Thank you all for your service. Yes. We want to make Florida the most veteran-friendly state in the nation. We're going to work with those veteran service offices, the VSOs across the state of Florida, to make sure our veterans get the benefits that they deserve. We're going to work with the VA administration. I'm going to lean into that. I'll have a Veterans Advisory Council that we will assemble people, volunteers from all over the state of Florida to make certain that we're delivering on the promise that we made to those veterans. When I think about our state, I think about housing affordability. We're at a crisis point now where a growing number of people cannot afford to live in the state of Florida. In our state, we have the Sadowski Trust Fund that back in the 90s, through a constitutional amendment, the voters at that time overwhelmingly voted to establish a trust fund whereby on every real estate transaction, there's a fee that's charged that goes into a trust fund. Over time, billions of dollars have gone into the trust fund. The state of Florida is required to have it, but the state of Florida is not required to spend the money for affordable housing, but that's what it was created for. Instead, year after year after year for decades, the state took the money and used the overwhelming majority of it for general state services, not to stimulate the building of workforce housing in our state. When I'm elected governor and take office, we're going to get back to using those dollars for what they were intended for. We've done it because the state was not leaning into this issue. In our county, we created our own locally controlled housing trust fund, where we put in $160 million over a 10-year period to build thousands of homes for families, for working class families, not for billionaires, not for the wealthy, but working class families. And we're doing that today through public-private partnership. We're going to do it all over the state of Florida. Yes, we are. We're going to create some housing. We have built housing for senior citizens. I say that because when I look at around this room, I see some gray hair like mine. I can live in some of them by age, but I probably wouldn't qualify by income. But that's important to me, because it's important to you. So, I've talked about quite a few things now, just to really to scratch the surface of who I am. The best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. I have been a public servant for the last 45 years. I've been a Democrat for all of my adult life. Nearly 50 years now, I've been a Democrat. I didn't vacillate, we've been fighting for Democrats. But I have to tell you, through my public service, I've never asked anybody, are you a Democrat or a Republican? When I made decisions to help them, I just helped them. So my heart is one of service. I'm a servant leader. Val and I both are. We've together made a commitment to public service, to our public office. We're still doing it. Because we have 3 adult sons. One's an assistant fire chief for Orange County, one's an Orange County public school teacher, and the other's a businessman. We have 5 grandchildren, 4 granddaughters, 1 grandson. I want the world to be a better place for them and their children. Now our motto is that we can make the world a better place for our children and for our family. We can make the world a better place for yours, for your family as well. So we're fighting for our families. If you Google my name, you're going to see where I'm in different debates and disagreements with the state of Florida right now, with our governor. Because they've lost sight. They're making decisions that are purely partisan decisions, not about what's good for the people. I believe in the power of the people, not the people in power. So we're trying to tell you, Democrats, during this election cycle, I need help. I need your help. I need your votes. I need you to make contributions to our campaign. I need you to volunteer for our campaign. I need help because we need to get other members who are like-minded elected to the Florida legislature. If we work together, we're stronger when we come together. During this time, if we can flip Florida blue, we'll be able to flip this nation blue. We'll get back to a vote for me is a vote for normalcy. It's a vote for civility. It's a vote for our democracy.
That's right.
It's a vote for a real commander-in-chief It's a vote for a new sheriff in town. It's a vote for a true public servant. It's a vote for a real Democrat. I said a mouthful of that. I'm gonna stop. Look that. Thank you all so much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you all today. If you want to follow us, go to jerrydemingsforgovernor.org, jerrydemingsforgovernor.org. That's our website. We'll pass around some literature for you. And Madam President, is it okay if I open it up for some questions? Okay. All right, I'm gonna open it up for some questions. All right. You, Christy, are numero uno today.
My question is about alligator Alcatraz and what your plans are to do with it once you're elected. And if it involves letting it on fire, can I be part of that?
All right. Christy, I don't know that we can set it on fire. But what we can do is make sure it closes down and it never ever opens up again. Now let me be honest about it. I believe in immigration and customs enforcement. Because if we don't enforce the nation's borders, the state's borders, it weakens us. It weakens our safety. Because when you fly, when you get on those cruise ships, we want them to be safe, right? And the men and women at the local level work with the immigration and customs officials to make sure all of that is safe for us. When we fail to adequately enforce our immigration laws, the enemy can come in. And the enemy right now is coming into our country. Just recently, we saw an attack on a synagogue. We saw an attack on a university in Virginia. When we fail to attack, when we fail to protect our borders, we have attacks like in my community, the Pulse nightclub incident. With the geopolitical issues going on now, I believe that we are creating more enemies abroad. And they're looking to attack America. So we gotta stay on top of our game. So I believe that we should enforce our laws, but we should do so in a very humane way. Alligator Alcatraz was not treating people with dignity and respect that they deserve. We can enforce the laws without being punitive to the point where it's uncivil for us to do so. Am I right about it?
Yes, that's right.
So I talked about that oath that we swore to. And now I'll move to the next question. All right.
I don't need a mic.
Okay. All right, here you go. Let's see if you don't need a mic.
But with this next election, and I think we're all a little nervous because ICE has come through the villages and taken a whole bunch of landscapers out of here for no reason. So how do we enforce laws, but keep them away from polling places and keep them out of here where they're not needed? They're not taking the worst of the worst. We all know that. They're just taking.
Right. The overwhelming majority of persons who are being detained are not being detained on criminal charges.
No, of course
They're not violent offenders. No matter what you see the administration say with their narrative, the overwhelming majority of them are persons who are undocumented, who are being held on ICE detainers, which is really a federal civil violation. That's really who most of them are. But if you were watching this week, something extraordinary happened. When Florida's sheriffs stood up for the first time in a long time and said, wait a minute, to the federal government. What they said was that those persons who are here who are working, landscapers, those who are working on our farms, those who are working in our construction businesses, those who are working in our hospitality industries and doing other work that we really need them to do, there should be a pathway to legal status for them that is not as long as it has been taken. Because we need those workers. Just this year, in Florida, we had a very cold winter that resulted in a lot of our crops that our farmers in Florida lost over $350 million because of the freezes. But on top of that, many of them cannot get their produce to market because they don't have anyone in the fields to harvest it. They need those workers who are here with those H-2A visas. And they've created a process that is so arduous that people can't get through the process. Shame on us, because we need those people. That, if we don't get this right, it'll start affecting our food prices and our ability to feed ourselves, okay? So Florida, agriculture is still one of the largest industries that we have. As I've been traveling the state, I'm hearing from people in counties like Lee County, Gaston County, and some of these other rural counties where these farmers are coming now up to me and saying, can you help us out here? And some of them who historically have tended to lean more conservative are kind of quietly creating noise and putting pressure on those sheriffs and sheriff, we need your help. We need your help. So when I'm governor, we're gonna have some common sense responses to those types of things in our state because we need those workers. We are seeing the construction costs go up because when time is money, and all of that is affecting us. And you're right, the landscapers, you all have all this lush landscape here in the villages. And you want to keep it that way. Because many Americans don't want to do that work. So that's why these other folk are coming in to be able to do that work. And so we cannot forget that. In the hospitality industry, I get to be the mayor, the countywide mayor, and the #1 tourist destination in North America. Tops in the world. 90+% of the people who work in hospitality were born somewhere else. Rather than work against the diversity that we have, I think the diversity that we have as a nation is the strength of our nation. We have a huge strength. All right, you want me to bring the mic?
Well, yes.
In a way, though, I don't feel too bad for the farmers because they elected Trump. They really helped elect him. But my question really is, my husband and I spent 25 years overseas. We returned in 2020. I was shocked at how racist this country is. Even around the villages, you see those Civil War flags the wrong side. So, and I'm not diplomatic, so how much of a chance do you think you, as a black man, you have to win in the racist state of Florida?
All right, I get that question sometimes on the campaign trail. Well, Donald Trump's nominee, he thinks a black person can get elected in the state of Florida. You see that pen I said? What does it say? Believe. Yes, I believe. In all of these positions that I've been in, guess what? I flipped them from a Republican. Every one of them. But I'm not running to be the black governor. I'm running to be the governor. It's just going to represent all people. I'm well experienced as the mayor of Orange County, one of only 3 countywide elected mayors in the state of Florida.
And what's the racial diversity there in that area?
I'll talk about all of it. So in my county, we have a county of about 1.6 million people. In Orange County, about 20% of our population are black. About 30% of our county identify as Hispanic. About 8% Asian. So it's a melting pot of people from all over the place. But when I think about the state of Florida, you know, race is but one thing, but that's not a qualifier. There's been, do y'all know a gentleman by the name of Bob Buttersworth?
Yeah.
Formerly, he was the Attorney General for the state of Florida. And I believe Bob was like 7 terms. He's the longest serving Attorney General, one of the longest serving constitutional officers in the state of Florida. He has endorsed me. White guy, lives down in Broward County. He called me and he said, Jerry, you got my support, my endorsement. He said, because we have something in common. He said he was the only person elected statewide that held the title of mayor and sheriff. And I said to him, well, okay, I'll be the next one. I got a one-up on you. I'll be the only one that has held the title of mayor, sheriff, and chief of police. And guess what? I didn't say anywhere in there that when I'm elected, I'll be the first. I didn't say I'll be the first black governor, did I? It's my credentials. I'm running on my experience, my credentials. That makes me well qualified, well suited to run for governor. Now I'm a crisis manager. There won't be another one in this race on either side that's been on point during a global pandemic, been on point during a terror attack, been on point during numerous hurricanes and other weather phenomena, that's been on point during barricaded government situations, hostage situations. What I'm telling you is I'm well trained and well experienced. You want a governor that can not only lead when things are going well, but when things are going terribly wrong. Now, as a CEO of Orange County, I am a strong mayor form of government. I get elected countywide. The majority of the residents in our county, of that 1.6 million, 1 million of them don't live in any city. That's why we have a countywide elected mayor. They live in the unincorporated areas of the county. We have 13 cities, the largest being the city of Orlando with about 340,000 people. But the region is branded Orlando. But most of what you will visit that people call Orlando is Orange County, okay? And so Miami-Dade has a countywide elected mayor. We have one, and the other is in Jacksonville, Duval. I'm responsible today for a $9.7 billion budget. It's about a tenth of the state's budget. My degrees in finance, I have an MBA. I'm well qualified to be the CEO. But when things go terribly wrong, the governor becomes the emergency manager for the entire state of Florida. I taught it, I trained it. I'm a certified crisis manager. None of these other people can tell you that they've been a chief of police, a sheriff. I've even been deputy county administrator and director of public safety for Orange County. I've been the interim jail director as well. So I've had a lot of titles in these 45 years that gave me all this gray hair that I have today. But I'm ready. I'm ready. I can hit the ground running right now. I was on the FEMA National Advisory Council appointed during the Obama administration. I've been on several other national advisory councils. I've been on different statewide boards. I was appointed by Jeb Bush to the first state Homeland Security after our nation was attacked during 9/11. I was chief of police when that happened. There was a nexus to Orlando. I won't get into that right now. It's too long of a story, but trust me when I say there was a nexus to Orlando. So I'm ready, ladies and gentlemen. I'm ready to be your next governor here in the great state of Florida. Not because of the color of my skin, but for all those other reasons that I talked about. Thank you all so much.
So my understanding is, we want a photograph, is that true? So, I don't know how we're gonna do this. So maybe Dylan has an idea of how to corral us.
Can you do a
and-
selfie from here back?
Yeah, so I'm gonna stand in the middle.
That's a
So
good
I'm gonna
idea.
block some of y'all. If can everybody stand? And then the best looking people come. I got it, yeah. All right. May I come on in?
Chris, get in there.
All right, let's all say Democrat. All righty.
That's it.
Elaine, where are you? Oh, sir, Mayor. We have a little thank you note there. Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias. Merci beaucoup to all of you. All right, that's right. Happy Women's History Month here. All you women in the room and you other guys too.
We'll give them a moment. He has other appointments to do today, so we'll give him a moment and then we'll continue with our program. And so lunch, Paula, while we're waiting, lunch at Bell Glade.
Yes, Bell Glade.
Lunch at Bell Glade afterwards. Usually we have between 20 and 25 of us meet for lunch, and it's a great time to get to know each other a little better. Oh, now we have the picture. This takes a while.
How is school going? Is he a grade?
He's here. Pretty good. I'm at a meeting right now. No, that's okay. Aaron is tough. He's not. Is he what? Is there anything?
Maybe if you get Dylan, if Dylan will, if you give him my phone number, maybe he will forward us one of the pictures and we can post it on our Facebook.
I take the melon patch. The melon patch theater. It's right at the storefront. Demings and Center as well.
Oh, that's okay, that's all right. Anyway, I'll be
Major work.
okay, have a good day.
Really interesting. Really interesting. It's very nice. It's good restaurants, funky places. So cute. And so it's really cool. Aaron and Kevin.
Okay, everybody, I think we'll get started back with our program. I'm going to be my own slide projector person here. I'll try not to stand in front of it. So as we all know, this is Women's History Month, and I don't know about you, but I honestly feel like women are under attack. I spent some time on the internet trying to remember all the women he has fired, especially in the military. For some reason, he seems to have targeted us. But today we're going to honor some of those women whose, I alluded to it last month that back in 2010, the theme for Women's History Month was writing women back into history, because women's history often seems to be written in invisible ink. Let me, I lost my slide. Okay. So, oh, okay. Oh, wait, no, she's back. So, you all may remember that it was Jimmy Carter, way back when he was president, who declared and proclaimed Women's History Week. And when he did that, I want to read to you what he wrote, because it really does speak to what's happening and how things are today. From the first settlers who came to our shores, from the first American Indian families who befriended them, men and women have worked together to build this nation. Too often, the women were unsung, and sometimes their contributions went unnoticed. But the achievements, leadership, courage, strength, and love of the women who built America was as vital as that of the men whose names we know so well. And so that was part of the declaration for Women's History Week. Renee? So last month, I went through, and honestly, I'm not the person qualified to make these decisions, but I did. And I found women who have been forgotten. Well, last month we were, it was Black History Month, so it was women who were amazing. But this month is women who have been kind of forgotten in history. And the first one was, her name, and I may not pronounce this correctly, was, she was a physicist, and she helped discover and explain nuclear fission, but her role was not acknowledged by her friend and collaborator, and his name was Otto Hahn. And he actually won the Nobel Prize for the breakthrough, and she got no recognition for her achievement in that field. I especially was happy to find Patsy Minsk. She was the first woman of color and the first Asian American woman elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. And I think Jill may have snuck out. Oh no, there she is. But she was a principal author of Title IX. So, and again, she was who never taught this. Okay, next slide. We're going to move through these fairly quickly because I'm hungry, y'all. So this young woman, Gerda Taro, I guess is the way she was a pioneering female photographer who died on the front lines of the Spanish Civil War in 1937. But her fame was eclipsed by her partner, Robert Capa, and on some occasions her photographs were actually accredited to him. And she was killed while covering the war at the age of 26. We don't know her history. And then Henrietta Lacks. She was a cancer patient, and we didn't really know about her until a book came out in 2010. But her cells, she was a cancer patient, they took her cells without her permission, she didn't know, and used them to help develop chemotherapy. So all of us who, and I honestly can tell you I haven't had cancer, and I hope that I don't, but for everyone who has survived cancer, or honestly, we owe so much to this woman and the sacrifice she made, because she was never asked. They didn't say, can we do this? They just did it. And then, next one. So, Jocelyn Bell Burnell was a physicist. And so, Chris, are you still in the room? Oh, yeah, she is. No? Oh, well, maybe not. She is a Northern Irish physicist who, while conducting research for her doctorate, discovered the first radio pulsars. Now, I honestly don't know anything about radio pulsars, but I assume they're really important. And she did this in 1967, and this discovery later earned the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1974, but she was not among the awardees because the committee prioritized her supervisor. So again, you know, and so this last young woman, she wanted to be a pilot. And back in the 1920s, black women were not allowed to get their pilot's license. So she was determined. She left, she learned to speak French. She went to France where she could do this. And so she earned her license within 7 months and officially became the first woman pilot and the first black woman pilot for sure. So these are some of the women we celebrate today. And next slide. This is the one that's most important to my heart. So how many of you know about the Women's Air Force Service pilots of World War II? So last month we talked about the women of the 6888 and the amazing work they did in World War II. Without any recognition, worked and solved our postal problem for our men and women overseas. So the Women's Air Force Service pilots, because I've got some figures here, they ferried planes across the United States. They actively flew over 60 million miles. 60 million miles. Goodbye, sir. Thank you so much, Aaron. They performed 22 jobs at 120 bases, and they flew 80% of the U.S. military ferry missions, delivering over 12,652 aircraft of 78 different kinds. So these women were truly amazing. They flew strafing missions. They let people shoot at them. And for all of this service, they were never recognized as veterans. And their families, if they died in the service, their families had to pay to bring them home to be buried. This is how we treated women over history. And they were not recognized until, again, President Carter, God love him, in 1977, he granted them full veteran status. And again, in 2009, President Obama awarded them the Congressional Gold Medal. And I remember that ceremony, and so many of them were dead at the time. They never really got that recognition because they died long before. So, next slide. Oh, so now to the important business of Denise, are you in the room? Oh, Denise is our treasurer. She has a very important job. As a matter of fact, I think hers is the most critical job on the board and probably the most taxing because she's responsible for our money. And we've decided that we're going to try to be diligent and each month give you a quick update on the status of our finances. So.
Okay. Thank you. I know. You want me to sing too? Okay, so we started. the month with a balance of $3,513.39. We had an income from 50/50 of $55, and the donation of the winner back to us another $50. Name tags, we had $35 we made in name tags for 7. Jewelry, we sold 3 pieces at $30. We had membership, 24, came to $840, bringing us a total of $1,010 for income. Then our expenses, we had stamps, $48, which Lainey was kind enough to pick up for us, so she was reimbursed. Snacks, $29.87 to Paula, who also was kind enough to take care of that. Every week know that you have a little something sweet to get you through the meeting. Name tags, we ordered 11. Actually, that number can be adjusted because I ordered more at the cost of $65, but that'll show up in next month's actually because it's a March thing. And then we had tally days. We had 3 rooms, 2 nights, came to $931.05. Gift basket, $96.69 also for tally days, which was a huge hit, our basket, and which came to a total of $1,171.06, giving us a grand total balance of $3,352.33. And I'm sorry I didn't read that middle number, the $4,523 after the income. And that's all I got.
Thank you. And I can tell you, we had our theme for our basket was Mardi Gras because it was February. And she's right. Our basket was the hit of the show. It was really great. So next slide. At this time, I'd like to bring up, and she's going to talk to us about a new program she wants to start for us. And so Mayor Carol Holbert is one of our board members. She's a board member at large. So she's going to tell you a little bit about this program. Is this mic working?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Steve.
One of the programs I've wanted to start with our club is small group forums. The purpose, it would give us a new platform that would encourage us to get to know one another on a deeper basis. Hopefully we can foster some new friendships. This would be in a small setting where it would be cozy and comfortable and safe. Next slide, please. The power of these small group forums is in a big meeting like this, yes, we do get to see some people, but we don't really have the time. We have a full agenda, we've got lots of things to do. We don't have time to really discuss any issues in depth, and we don't have the opportunity to meet new people in the group and to become more deeply connected with those people. We know that in groups, we tend to want to belong to groups where our friends are. And we tend to keep coming to groups when we have friends there. So part of the reason for small group forums is that it will hopefully have us coming back to meetings because we know people better, we know people here, we can't wait to see them again. It will help us retain our members and grow our club when they see a membership that has that kind of dynamic. Next slide, right now. How would it work? We would have small groups of about 6 to 8 people. They would be held in a comfortable environment. Initially, we're going to start out, I'm going to invite these groups to my home. We'll have snacks. We will have a topic. We'll put out a topic for the upcoming meeting, and people can sign up on a first-come, first-served basis. We will, at the meeting, have light snacks. We'll be able to share our experiences, our stories, our ideas. Hopefully we can get really creative and come up with some new ideas or strategies that will help our purposes going forward. Next. So right now, the first small group forum is scheduled for April 22nd. That's a Wednesday, after tax day. Important date for me. Time 2 to 4 in the afternoon, after lunch, before dinner, hopefully when we have some time. The place, my home, which is about 2 miles from here, Dee, not far at all. Our first forum discussion topic, and this one is really important to all of us. It's the war on a woman's right to vote. How do we fight back? I think it'd be fun to spend some time really talking about that in depth, because one of our issues is that we have some great things going on here, but we have so much to do, we don't have time to devote to it. So I hope we'll provide more information in an upcoming communication about signing up for it. But the first 6 to 8 people that would sign up, I would look forward to seeing you in my home. Dee?
Thank you, Mary Carol. Let me look here. I think we're ready to give that basket away in the back. So Joe, how much? So Allison, please stand. Allison is the one who donated this basket, and so we are so thankful for her. And I do believe we raised right at $149. I'll put $1 in that basket and we'll be at $150. So, is there anybody who didn't buy a ticket? Okay, I'll draw. I promise I won't vote. I will, but I might win. There you go. So then, I don't have my glasses on, Joe.
Okay, here we go. 793375.
Seven. Okay, so it's a travel basket. It has some wonderful stuff. I hope everybody stopped. There was all signs of what was in the basket. Announcements. Our next meeting is April 18th. The League of Women Voters will be here, and they're going to talk about election security versus access. I've heard this presentation. As soon as I heard it, I knew we needed to hear it. So we look forward to that. And we're going to have a couple of people from the Democratic Executive Committee come in, and they've got 5 to 10 minutes each to talk about a couple of the Sumter County Democratic programs, and they're going to do that. So it'll be a busy schedule. But I think, lunch is at Beltway. Did I miss anything?
Sucks.
Stuffs, which was a play on Broadway about the suffrage movement.
I just saw it in Charlotte. Don't miss it. It's going to be on PBS.
It's coming on PBS. I think
March 27th.
Jerry Demings.
May 8th at 9 o'clock.
Okay, so I'll put together a little flyer. We'll email it out to everybody. I wanted to see this play so bad, but I can't make it to New York. Yes, sir.
Okay, next Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it was on the slide. Hopefully everybody paid attention to the slides. No Kings, March 28th. South by Everglades Recreation Center. North up here by the roundabout there by Aldi's. So we're having, again, there was a slide, we're having a poster making party. Our friend Shelley Placido, she cannot wait. She was gone for 2 months down south in South America somewhere. They traveled, they took cruises, they did all this stuff, but she's back and she's ready to start making some signs. So hopefully we'll see you guys. It's going to be at the Democratic headquarters on Main Street. So hope to see everybody at lunch. Thank you so much. Have